Welcome back to the channel. All right, we are going to get to the Battlegrounds rankings tier list. I've watched a lot of Battlegrounds lately, as you all know, but right before we do that, I want to make sure you're aware. I've been talking about it. I've been teasing it. It's been very open, but this November, coming to you will be the second iteration, the second Vega Battlegrounds Championship, which will be the Community Grandmasters Cup. Again, featuring some of your favorite YouTube personalities and community members, where you, the viewer, and me are going to play the role of Grandmaster, and we're going to have a lot of fun with these competitors. Make sure to follow my channel and the channels of all the competitors, and follow me on Twitter as we go about deciding just exactly who we're going to ban and who these competitors can and can't use. And then in early 2023, the 3-star tournament will be coming. We're going to cut that blubber. You know, I've been talking about it on the streams. We're going to have a great time with this. We're going to get even more people involved, or people who haven't been involved in the first two anyways. We're going to have an absolute blast cutting out that blubber early 2023. And then this Monday, the knockout stage for the Illuminati Invitational will commence with many amazing matchups, highlighted, I think, by a round one matchup, Karate Mike versus Legacy. Make sure you tune in so you catch all of it. All right, let's get to those rankings. Okay, these are the updated rankings as we head into October. There have been some adjustments, some moving around, as we've had a full month of the first season, right? Most of this was based off of the beta program and just the result of a lot of people working together on this, the full MCoC Illuminati. So thank you very much to them. We do have the legend in the upper right-hand corner. I'll do my best to kind of explain that because it changes a little bit as we go from the dual threats, which you know I love, as we get to the pure attackers and the pure defenders. Let's go ahead and start on this with the dual threats, the tier above all. This, as we went through the first season, right? And for the main circuit, we had the nodes stay exactly the same. We had explosive personality and then the armor break immunity. And we saw how much that elevated certain defenders and even certain attackers in a way. And then as you made into the gladiator circuit, the other nodes took over for a week. And so we really wanted to make the tier above all truly mean it, that like it almost didn't seem like the meta mattered as much. These were still valuable two-way defenders. As you can see the little microphone, that means we're going to talk about them at least briefly today. Rintra has fully cemented himself in there, right? Anyone who's taking Battlegrounds very, very seriously, and obviously a lot of people who weren't, I think saw the value of him. He's so incredibly tanky. You know, I've been talking about this on my channel for a very long time now. The shifting relationship, the evolving relationship between Cosmics and Mystics, Neutralize is incredibly powerful. It's not just for Tiger anymore. And then also he has incredible healing and health pool, very tanky, and he was a great defender. I loved him. I often joked about how this first tournament really could have been called the Rintra Tournament, the Rintra Invitational. Moving into the science category there, with Overseer, he really proved his worth in that secondary damage source, right? Once you start the cosmic mode with him, and then you're ending in lights, that secondary damage source really allowed him to get away or do damage. So not get away with, but do damage to a variety of defenders, get around nodes, work with it. And then of course, he's a troublesome defender too. You see, I think Elsa is this is one of the few champions where this is really going to show up, where that ranking is purely based on the recoil masteries. And you got to be very skillful how you're going to use that, but you really can trap some people by placing her on defense. But make sure you really know how to run that recoil tree if you're going to try it in Battlegrounds. If you're looking for a channel who really knows what they're doing with the recoil tree in Battlegrounds, look for Nick136. He's qualified. He's made it to the knockout stage in my Illuminati Invitational here. Fantastic player, great channel. Make sure you check that out. Moving on, so Wolverine Weapon X in the mutant category. I know for some of you used to seeing that as the like go ask Suida emoji. It felt like a right way to move that in. And what that's happening, you're going to see that on the spreadsheet quite a few times, is some of this may be new due to the champion being new, or in the case of Wolverine Weapon X, it's like just not that many people have him. But I do think he's a problematic defender regardless. I don't think that's going to change, but let's let time go and tell on that one. And then in the cosmic category for the tier above all, dual threats, Hulkling more than proved his worth. I've been telling you guys since, I tested him on the CCP, and this also goes for Gallon too, to be honest. I love them. There's a reason why I was like, I'm going to go out and get them. And then I did. And we're seeing everything that I thought would happen with them. It was very obvious. The abilities are well listed. You know exactly how they're going to work, and they've been tremendous. Gallon, The Illuminati actually had to kind of convince me to put him in as a dual threat. I so frequently just used him offensively, but the fact of the matter is they are correct. I wonder how much of that his defensive use is due to him being new, but he is a problem in a Battlegrounds where you're trying to keep as much health as possible. It's not like War where you just want to solo and move on. That planetary mass and the harvest that he has can be a real problem. It's going to do damage to you. If you don't have an ideal counter like Neutralize, as I've been talking about with Rintra and Wiccan, we'll see him later on in this list. Make sure you're knocking Gallon down with your specials. That will help you keep his mass under control, but at some point it might just do damage. There's really not much you can do about it. All right, let's go ahead and look at the top shelf here for these champions. And we'll start off in the Mystic category there. Tigra, Wiccan. Wiccan's the first one we're going to talk about. Might be a little bit new. I do think fighting him is not that easy, right? Because of the way his Neutralize works. I think people are going to find themselves taking damage that they don't really want to be taking. Also, Wiccan's still, I believe, currently bugged where he has a chance to kind of just shut down the game if he's placed on defense. So we didn't even allow him to be placed on defense in the tournament. But I think as people get him, as his featured crystal comes in, people are going to see just how powerful he is in matchups where there are buffs, and he can cause those to not occur with his Neutralize, how much damage he's going to do. If you're wondering about that, you can check out the channel of MU8. He has a rank 4 Wiccan doing incredible things. We saw it highlighted throughout the tournament, and I'm looking forward to seeing him continue to use that in the knockout stage. The next one we're going to talk about that's new or different, or we're going to talk about in this video, is Quicksilver. I kind of think he might be a little too slow for your super high competitive Battlegrounds, but I used him very well. I played extremely casually, still came in the top, I think it was like 2,500 or something like that. I got out my video on the rewards and things like that. I spent zero money and I couldn't even spend all the Elders marks I had earned because I just wasn't able to play that much. And I still used him and I was very happy with his results. I think it's often forgotten that his slow also makes it so he can't miss. And he's able to do a good amount of damage. Yeah, it's maybe not in 30 seconds, but you're going to get that defender down if you play him well. And then also he's a problem on defense. People really don't know how to fight him. I know I'm not totally sure myself. And some of that may be due to newness, but I have a feeling that even once we all kind of know how to fight him, he's still going to be causing problems for you because of his animations alone. Moving on to Immortal Iron Man, Iron Doom. This was a very recent add-on. In fact, this kind of happened pretty much the night before the rankings. I showed them to the group and they took a look at him. They all feel strongly that he's probably going to stay up there. They mentioned to me that he might not be the best for Havoc because Havoc has so much energy resist, but there's a lot of other mutants out there besides Havoc and a lot of other champions out there besides Havoc you can use him for. Make sure you don't use him against a nullifier or something that's going to take care of his armor up. You want to keep that in mind. That's very important to his kit. So keep in mind the meta or something like that you're going to be using him for. He's extremely powerful, and I do think he's going to be a problem on defense. And that might just be to him being new. I'm a little more certain that Quicksilver will still be a problem in 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months than I am Iron Doom will be. But right now, he's still a problem. All right, let's talk about your pure attackers, right? There's a lot about the deck building. I love my dual threats. They really help me out. I love having that in as a strategy. And usually getting down to that final matchup, Nova wanted everyone to hear that she's here and say hello. But a lot of people, really smart players, and I have some in my deck too, but if you are really interested in knowing more that nuanced attacking style, you have videos by Slaymon and then here, Nerd. Make sure you go check that out. He's got some phenomenal videos on his nukes, as he likes to call them, and how he uses them and his whole strategy. It's phenomenal. They too, Slaymon and Nerd, are both in the knockout stage of the Illuminati Invitational. Not a surprise given how knowledgeable these two guys are. All right, so the tier above all, we're talking about Juggernaut. Juggernaut jumped onto the stage with Egatron and his awesome use of Juggernaut, taking out Yusafa, and then we saw Suida come in, do phenomenal things. The amount of damage Juggernaut can put forth is incredibly impressive. He's no longer the defensive monster that he once was because of the buff, but I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with it. I did not want him even stronger on defense, and his offensive potential has grown considerably. Make sure you check that out. Scorpion, as you know, Scorpion apparently is good. We found out. I love using mine. I do think like with this first week in season 2, he might be a problem because he's got that 20% chance to evade him. He's got his Scorpion Sting or whatever it's called up. I do not like I do not like abilities like that. I want to know when something's going to happen, not be constantly worried something's going to happen. And then offensively, he is fantastic. He is absolutely fantastic. His ability to have shifting immunities and shifting damage debuffs, but he does a tremendous amount of damage in those fights. He's fantastic. He's great. Probably, depending on the meta, he could be used defensively, and that's why those crossed swords are there for the attackers. If you see that, that means there is some defensive use. He's definitely got it. Some people would maybe even say like he should be in the dual threats. Moving on through, the other kind of new addition is Gallon. We talked about him briefly in the dual threat, where I wanted to more talk about him defensively and why he was up there. Offensively, there's very little he can't do. I've even used him to take out Thing, and it's because his damage in that planetary harvest or what have you, it's guaranteed. He can't even be modified, right, by his like raising attack or something like that. And it just happens. It's accentuated because of the node that we had in week 1, right, with the armor ups and those sorts of things. And then some of these war videos we're seeing, but you know that I've been showing that to you for a couple months now. The thing with him is it's great for Battlegrounds and war. It's good. I really like questing with him too, but he's not ending fights as quickly because, again, as I said, you're gonna have to build up that mass again. You can't make it go up to 5, 6, 7, 800, okay? And 100,000. And in those fights, he's like perfect for Battlegrounds, perfect for war, very good for other things. But that's why he's up there. He's tremendous. He's phenomenal as an attacker. Top shelf tier of the attackers, I just kind of wanted to show them to you quickly. We're not really going to talk about anyone because there's really no one new that's made their way into there. Depending on the mode or really just your own deck, they could be phenomenal. They can be great. They could really help you get things done. A lot of people I know, like I have a rank 4 Spider-Man 99. He does have some defensive use, kind of. He can be a little bit tanky with those building resistances he's got. But honestly, he often doesn't even make my deck, even though I have him at rank 4. So much is going to have to do with the meta and how often I feel like I'm really going to need him. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the defenders. Not a ton of differences here in the pure defenders, right? No one new has come out that either is in a dual threat or just a pure defender. I just wanted to kind of point out, you can see all the little fencing persons there, people. They really, those are the ones saying like there is maybe some offensive use. And honestly, I don't think it's odd that we see so many of those mystics because of mystic dispersion and their ability to utilize that to their benefit, depending on the node, the meta, or the attacker themselves. I could see people even maybe using Mephisto Dormammu if you have to, right? Battlegrounds is so much about your deck. It's highly personalized. And then how the matchups actually work out. We see so many odd round 3s in the Battlegrounds tournaments. It's part of what makes them so incredibly fun. And then I wanted to point out the newness, right? Cap Sam Wilson. I know he does actually have some offensive use. That's why we've got him there with the fencing emoji. You get him at super high sig level. Check out the channel of The Infamous for some really nice Cap Sam Wilson gameplay. He's a big fan, does really nice things with them. Icarus could be there. I do think some of that is like newness though, primarily on the defensive side. I think people just don't know how to fight him. He's really annoying. You can't hit him with lights or something like that. Like even that, I'm kind of forgetting off the top of my head how to fight him. Cap Sam Wilson, same thing, right? The damage he can do and his specials and those sorts of things. And then Sauron. I know a lot of people really like Sauron. I really, truly believe a lot of that's just due to people not knowing how to fight him. Write it out though, right? Have fun. That's part of Battlegrounds. Your deck, highly personalized. How are you going to use it? These are the rankings. We'll continue to update these every month, pretty much after the meta is over. And then I'll do my best. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it this week just because I'm so busy, but I will try to get out. I have some ideas on that first week meta with the evade and stuff like that. Might rank up a couple fun champions and then we'll see how they do. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.